Hello, everyone. Today I want to tell you a story about how I realized I should have said no. I've always been a go getter and wanted to outperform everyone, and sometimes I did. I definitely have strengths when it comes to people management and client relations. So it all started when I switched positions and started working for an associate director as a group leader. I took over a group of about 10 chemists, and they had been without a group leader for about 3 months. So they were doing the best they could, but there was a huge backlog. I worked about 70-hour weeks for about 3 months to get the backlog completely taken care of. I was really impressing my new boss and had united the team to work together for the goals of the group. So after the backlog was taken care of and my boss kind of saw what I could do, she started asking if I could take on more projects and more clients. And of course, I said yes over and over and over again. Uh, we can make it happen. We'll figure out a way. After about 2 years of that, along with some other realizations, I decided that the time and effort that I was putting into trying to make the clients happy and meet their deadlines was not really getting the visibility above my direct supervisor, and that it really didn't matter. I wasn't going to get promoted, I wasn't going to get recognized, and there wasn't really much I could do to change it. So I cut back my hours, and instead of working 60-hour weeks, I cut it back to 50. And I quickly realized that I had put myself in that position in the situation I was in. I was the one that said yes to all those clients and new projects. I was the one that said we could do it. Uh, I was the one that was committing to the client deadlines that were already a stretch to meet. I truly thought that my boss was looking at the numbers and seeing what we were doing and using that as a guide to determine if we could handle more. I thought she was looking at the data, the financials, the hours my team was putting in, um, to say no, they can't take any more. But that wasn't happening. She was going completely on my word. I had assumed a lot of things. One being that she was managing the way I would manage. And that's, once I realized that all the stress, all the excessive work, all the chaos was my fault, it was very humbling. It made me stop passing blame onto my boss, and I had to take the accountability for what I had created. And I really didn't like it. I had to make some changes, and within a few months of this realization, I ended up having to quit. I had created a precedent and an expectation that I couldn't go back on or change at that point. Um, so I tell you my experience because if you're in a situation that you think others are creating for you, take a step back and look at how you are contributing to it. How did you get to where you are? What could you have done differently? Can you make the necessary changes to rectify the situation? For me, I needed to have said no. I felt obligated to say yes. She was asking me, so I thought she needed me to do it. In reality, if I would have said no, she would have found a different group to take on the new clients and the additional projects. So I learned a very hard lesson on extreme ownership and learning to say no. So I hope this has been helpful, and